What's going on, guys? Eddie Dowd back again with another real estate tip. I'm a real estate agent. I'm joined every week by Brian Sachs. He's a mortgage lender, and we come to you every single week with real estate tips, real estate knowledge to help you be more educated when it comes to buying or selling a home. And today we're going to talk about Maryland versus Pennsylvania. We're from Maryland personally, do a lot of business in Maryland. We also do business in Pennsylvania. A lot of people talk about moving to Pennsylvania. There's certain benefits to it, and there might be certain drawbacks to it. A lot of people state the price, and then there's some people that move there, and maybe they say, "Hey, I want to go back to Maryland." But is it for you? Is it not for you? Is what we're going to talk today. We're going to weigh the pros and the cons. What's the difference? Where should you maybe decide to stand? We're not going to tell you where to stand, but what should you be thinking about when you're making the decision between Maryland and Pennsylvania? Brian?
All right. Well, yeah. Look, when we're talking about specifically northern Baltimore County, okay, which is right on what is called the Mason-Dixon line. So technically, Eddie, we're Southerners, y'all. And anybody in Pennsylvania is going to be called a Northerner. So we're still part of the South, but barely by miles, right? And so we both have a lot of people that think they're going to go to Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania is a great state, nothing against Pennsylvania. But there used to be a big gap. So, like, if you worked even in Baltimore City, right, or northern Baltimore County, you could go just cross the Pennsylvania line, like Shrewsbury and up around there before York, and you could really get a great deal. I mean, the homes were significantly cheaper. What's happened in the last 5 years, especially, but even in the last decade, is Pennsylvania is a great place to live. So is Maryland, by the way. But what's happened is that gap has narrowed, and the home prices, because of such demand and all these new developments, home prices have gone up significantly, but it gets worse. Okay. So we think that our taxes are high, right? In Pennsylvania, there's no sales tax, but there's a huge school tax. And I had a lady say to me, but I don't have school age children. I said, well, that really kind of is irrelevant because it gets spread across everybody. And now they're building more schools, and that school tax keeps going up. And so, if you're looking at moving to Pennsylvania because you think you're going to get a property cheaper, probably you're not going to. And if you think it's going to be cheaper for a monthly payment, also incorrect because their school tax is significant. I mean, on a house, I've seen a house that would be comparable in Baltimore city or county be, taxes like 3,600, and they're 5,800 in Pennsylvania when you put in the school tax. So is it right for you? I don't know. I mean, if you're going to be working in Baltimore and driving to Pennsylvania because you think you're going to save money, probably not the case anymore. That boat already sailed, as they say, Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, and if it's solely something that you're looking to do because of money, probably, yeah, like you said, the boat has sailed. If you actually like Pennsylvania, maybe you want to be up more rural. It can get kind of rural up there in Pennsylvania, closer to the Amish, whatever the case may be. Maybe you just like the lifestyle up there. Me personally, I do. I think there's a little bit slower pace, a little bit old school kind of, if you will. So I like the atmosphere up there. But if I decided to go to Pennsylvania, it wouldn't be because of the price necessarily. It'd be more because I like the living of Pennsylvania. But there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I can handle that, and they don't even like the idea of being in the country around Amish or anything like that, and they think, oh, it's just going to be cheaper, and you know what, I'll get used to living up there. But they go up there and they find that the price isn't. It
It's a
isn't really.
great quality of life. I mean, it's definitely a different pace, and it's definitely family oriented, especially in those little towns right over the Maryland line. But I mean, look, let's be fair. There's some great places in Harford County that are still old school. There's some great places in Cecil County, some great places in Frederick County that are still old schoolish, you know? And you're still in Maryland and you have Maryland property taxes and no school tax. So, just look into it. I guess the other thing to say here, Eddie, is take what people tell you with a grain of salt, unless they are a professional in that field. Okay.
Hmm.
So if you're having a conversation with your friends and you got a toothache and they say, oh, well, I saw this procedure, you can do it to yourself. You don't need to spend $1,000 to go to the dentist.
And
Yeah.
I'll even add to that. And if you're talking to a professional, I mean, obviously there are certain things that we advise you not to do, but typically we come pretty straight down the middle. We're not saying don't move to Pennsylvania. We're not saying don't. We're not saying get out of Maryland. We're giving you the pros and the cons. So try to find somebody that's balanced. Obviously, if there are some bad decisions that people can make in real estate or whatever the case may be, somebody we're going to guide you away from that, but we're not going to tell you don't go here or don't go there, but we're going to present you with the facts and let you make the educated decision, because ultimately we don't know what your situation is. Maybe your family's in Pennsylvania and you want to live there, or maybe you just like it more.
Well, you just need to understand, our goal here every week is to give you knowledge and to expose, maybe some little loopholes and different tips and tricks that you and I have accomplished over the years. But, you know, this lady told me she was going to save a lot of money. She was moving to Pennsylvania. And when she saw that tax bill, she was horrified. And I said, well, I tried to tell you, the home prices, they're pretty comparable nowadays. Unless you really go into like rural Pennsylvania in the mountains, you can do that. But,
Also at Maryland, you go out
you go out
to
to Hagerstown and Allegheny County. It's beautiful up there. So, just know that that gap between home sale prices in Maryland and in Pennsylvania has narrowed. They're almost the same. And when you put on top of that the school tax, Pennsylvania may not be that much cheaper. It may actually be more expensive. So, if you have a comment or a thought, leave it right here. And if you could subscribe, we would love you for that. And we want to wish everyone happy holidays and a happy and a healthy new year. And if you have a question you want to see us cover, just put it right down there. And Eddie, how did they get hold of you?
they get a hold of me at 410-588-6536, or fill out the GoFundMe, the home funded, works like a GoFundMe, link below. Your friends, your family can contribute there. Great thing to pass around the dinner table at Christmas and say, hey, give me some money. I'm looking to buy a house. And we're going to give you $2,000 towards that as well. So fill that link out below and let's get you started on your journey. Brian, how do they reach you?
443-471-8557. And God bless you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.